Hello everyone! This year we're baking Easter cakes. Last year I somehow didn't have the mood to bake, no inspiration, no desire, nothing at all. Well, that's putting it mildly. But this year I decided to bake, so join me. I will delight my whole family, despite not having my favorite oven, no molds, not my kitchen. In general, we are not at home. We will bake and rejoice. So let's start the preparation. The milk should be barely warm. Heat it up so it's not cold. Just a little, slightly warm. So we put the yeast into a small container. Take a small bowl like this. Add just a little bit of sugar here. From the total amount, 200 gram sugar, I will use it just a little bit here. Now a bit of flour here. I will add about 2, maybe 3 tablespoons. Mix everything like this. Yeast. I will use dry yeast. You can use fresh yeast and do the same with fresh yeast. From any brand you like, but choose reliable ones. Perhaps the ones you used last year or the year before, so you are sure everything will work. Now what do? Add the milk. You don't need to add all the milk at once. From the total amount of milk, add some here. I add it by eye and mix. It should turn into a mixture as if I'm making pancakes. A bit thick. Look here. Like this, a little more. Milk. So, it shouldn't be too thick. It should start to rise well, so that the yeast begins to work. If you use milk that's too hot, the yeast will get steamed and won't work, and nothing will rise. The milk should be barely warm. This is the mixture I ended up with. Now we cover it with plastic wrap and wait for it to rise nicely. In just 5 minutes, the dough has risen, the whole bowl is nice and warm. Remove the plastic wrap. Look at this beauty. Now we start to gather everything together. If you are using live yeast, fresh ones, it will be like this too. Oh, great, the smell of yeast. I really love cooking for Easter. Add the remaining warm milk. And we dissolve the whole mixture like this, just with a spoon. Now I will need 5 eggs. So look, 3 eggs. I crack them like this. Holes into the container where I will beat them. We separate the whites from 2 eggs. And we will later use the whites to decorate the Easter cakes. And the yolks go into the dough. Cover the whites and you can set them aside for now. You can even put them in the fridge. And we start beating the eggs. Look, the eggs have increased in volume several times. Add vanilla sugar here, 2 full teaspoons. And regular sugar. We pour it all in at once like this. And now we beat for minutes. 2, 3. Add the eggs beaten with sugar here. Mix it like this. Pour in the melted butter here as well. Like this. And pour it in. 2 tablespoons of vodka. Mix it. And now we start adding the flour. It's best to sift the flour a little in advance. We will add the flour in parts. First, about 1/3 by eye. And mix it in with a spoon or spatula. Now about half more. And then another portion of flour. A total of 900 grams of flour was used at this stage. Mix it. The dough is ready. It's lively like this. I will do it this way. I will let it rise. I'll just take a container slightly larger than this wooden one so the dough rises well. This will take approximately 1 hour to 1.5 hours. It depends on whether it's cold or warm at home. Cover it with plastic wrap and leave the dough to proof. All right, look, there will be plenty of space for it to rise. I will cover it with plastic wrap. Leave it where no one will be running around so the dough can rise in peace. So what will I add to the filling? Well, raisins. Dried fruits, I bought these already chopped, like candied fruits, you know. And I will add lemon zest. You can substitute it with orange, but I want this lemon flavor. I will pour hot water over the raisins. Just like this, up to the edges, let it sit for now. The candied fruits are ready, but the lemon zest needs to be grated. Grate the lemon zest on a fine grater like this. Only the yellow part is needed. This part here, do not grate the white part. It can be bitter. So the zest of 1 lemon. If you wish and have the opportunity, add the zest of 2 lemons. For those who love a well-pronounced flavor. We will need the juice of 1 lemon later for whipping the egg white and for decoration on top. So now we will wait for the dough to rise. An hour has passed for me. The dough just sat on the table like this. Look how nicely it has risen. Wow, cool. I love Easter cakes. Now what do we do next? There are 2 ways to proceed. The first way, you can already add raisins, candied fruits, everything you've thought of to this dough. Add them, distribute into the Easter cake molds, wait for it to rise, and bake. This is the first option. In this case, the Easter cakes will be moist, wet inside. You know, that kind of moist dough. Who likes it like that? Then proceed exactly this way. The second option, for those who don't like moist Easter cakes, we will knead the dough again with flour. I will need another 100 grams of flour. So the dough has risen nicely like this. Now take some vegetable oil and grease your hand with the vegetable oil like this. Lower the dough. So what will we do? I will need another 100 grams of flour. This is basically a full faceted glass of flour. Pour the flour onto the table. Place the dough onto the flour. Coat the dough in flour like this. And knead it like this. Once the flour is mixed in, we will still continue to mix the dough. What am I doing? Stretch it out with your hands like this. It might stick to your hands a little, that's normal. Add the zest here, like this. Add the candied fruits here as well. Distribute them evenly, gently, and precisely like this. Wrap the dough. And now slowly and gently pour vegetable oil onto your hands. Watch. Gently and carefully lift the dough using the vegetable oil. Like this. Mix so that the candied fruits are distributed along with the zest. Perfect. Now pour vegetable oil into the bottom of the bowl where we will let the dough rise and spread it like this. Now grease your hands, place the dough here and add the raisins. If you like, you can add not only raisins but also, for example, nuts. Now, pour a little vegetable oil and mix in the raisins like this. So I am using a total of 200 grams of dried fruits, 150 grams of raisins, and 50 grams of candied fruits. A total of 200 grams. If you want to add nuts, then still stick to the 200 grams limit. You can simply use 50 grams of raisins and 50 grams of nuts. Well, like this. Now take some plastic wrap and cover the container and let it rise again. Now the dough should rise to the very edges, and we will transfer it into the molds. In my warm home, this takes approximately, I think, no more than an hour and a half. That's it. Leave it so that no one runs around or slams doors. This is how it should stand. So today I will be baking in these paper molds. Since all my molds are at home and there aren't any tall ones here like I prefer, I just bought these regular classic paper baking molds. But to make them taller, because I like taller Easter cakes, I came up with this. Just take parchment paper. I made it taller than the mold. Look, like this. This way you will get Easter cakes of the height you want. You can even trim the top as much as you want, I will do it like this. In this way, I will use 4 molds like this. Since they will be this tall, 4 will be enough for me. If you don't do it this way and bake like this, you will need 6 molds like these. So my dough has already started to overflow. Remove the parchment, the plastic wrap. Make sure to use vegetable oil on your hands and the dough. Press it down. Look how great it is. Airy, soft, it's like, alive, not dense. So now, we divide this whole mass into 4 parts like this, right? And place each part into a mold. Well, I will do like this. Divide into as many parts as you have molds. I will just have 4 large ones. And this in half. No need to knead the dough anymore. No need to add flour. Make sure to oil your hands so nothing sticks. So I advise you to start preheating the oven now. Here's just my mold. I simply do it like this. You see, look. Raisins. From the top part of the dough, I remove them. Look how they turn out. And here, on top of the mold, I will cover it with a towel like this and leave it for the dough to rise. While the oven is heating up, probably for another 40 minutes at most, to let them rise. Look how well the dough has risen in the molds. Mine stood for a little over an hour and a half, and the height now, look. When I placed it, it was below half of the mold. And now the height is considerably greater than the original. This mold, so this parchment on top is just right. It will rise a little more in the oven. So we put the Easter cakes in the preheated oven at 180 degrees. If the oven is too hot, slightly reduce the temperature to 175. Bake for about half an hour with a long wooden stick. Check to make sure there is no wet dough. After about 25-30 minutes, you can check. If the tops start to burn, just cover them with foil and they won't burn. So while the Easter cakes are cooling, take the 2 egg whites we have left. Add 6 tablespoons of sugar to them. 1, 2, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and beat it. Look, this is how the whipped egg white with sugar turned out. The proportion is like this. For 1 egg white, 3 tablespoons of sugar. If it doesn't whip well, because sometimes the sugar is not good, with added starch, then add a couple more teaspoons. In total, there were 2 egg whites, 6 tablespoons of sugar. But if it's not enough and it's a bit runny, add a couple more tablespoons. But if the sugar is of good quality, it should be just right. Easter cakes cool. I am removing mold. Look at how beautiful the Easter cakes turn out. If you are not going to eat them all at once, don't remove the molds so they don't dry out. We decorate the top, but here it's up to everyone's creativity. I will use sprinkles, but in my previous videos I have used dried fruits and nuts. You can take a look to whom what will be liked. So sprinkles. Today I only have this kind of sprinkle. I won't be doing anything else. But I'm preparing now until Easter. And then for Easter, Nastya will be decorating all the Easter cakes. Look at how the Easter cake turned out inside. The dough rose very well. Look at how porous everything is. The Easter cake is very soft. It's still slightly warm. I couldn't resist. I'm cutting it to take a picture and taste it. But by tomorrow morning, they will be just perfect. So let's try what we have here. Well, I want to draw your attention to the proofing and the rise. The dough rise is really great. So the dough is moderately sweet, very porous, it's slightly moist. The Easter cakes are perfect. With the top, as always, I remind you once again, if you don't plan to eat all the Easter cakes in one evening, you shouldn't remove the parchment from them, otherwise they will dry out. If you forgot and removed all the parchment, pack each Easter cake in a bag and close it. And before serving, you can decorate them Or if you prefer, wait until the top has completely set and then cover it with a bag. But it's better not to remove the parchment, and they will keep for a few days and wait for you. So for those who will bake a double batch, you can bake in different containers, and you can bake this recipe in a multi-cooker. Just one thing to note, the dough will be for 2 batches, for 5 liters. Half of this dough will be tall. An Easter cake for the entire multi-cooker, for the full height of a 5-liter pot. There are also many recipes on my channel for Easter cakes. Over 9 years, I have filmed everything I knew, everything I loved, everything I invented and experimented with. So take a look. Maybe there's a dough. You already have a favorite, and you'll make exactly that one. This year, the Easter cakes are very delicious, a very successful dough recipe. Try it, definitely. For everyone who hasn't tried this particular version, I recommend it. I really want to congratulate all of Ukraine on Easter. I want to address all our Ukrainians. My dear ones, my beloved, I greet you. Easter cake is when Christ died and rose again. He conquered in death. Our God died for us and rose again, and now we are alive together with him. This year, many of our loved ones are not with us. No, our husbands, some, no brothers, no children. But I want you all to remember that Jesus has risen and he is alive, and they are all alive with him too. I want you to absolutely bake delicious Easter cakes this year. And even if you were definitely afraid to handle yeast dough before, I absolutely hope you take the risk and bake this amazing, delicious recipe this year. And while you are baking Easter bread, pray to Jesus. Let him comfort you. Let him give you hope, because indeed, our God is our hope. And remember, time will pass, and we will all meet again. With our children, with our brothers, with our husbands. Everyone who is not with us now. You know, Christ died once for all of us so that we might live. And all our guys, many of whom died so that we could live. Let's just live. And let this sacrifice, let it be, we will remember it. And this year when you bake the Easter bread, let it not only be, with tears, let it be with joy and happiness and warmth and love and togetherness and celebration and gratitude and hope and peace and unity and harmony, with the joy that we all live forever. That they are alive and we are alive, and we will live out the time allotted to us here and meet there. May Jesus, who is risen and has conquered death, comfort you this year. And I want to say to all of Ukraine, if God is for us, who can be against us? I want to congratulate you all, no matter what. May the sun shine. May there be a peaceful sky above our heads. I congratulate you all on Easter. Christ is risen.